it wasn't. I don't understand it, but I did end up beating. Yeah.
Foolish child. Think what I could offer.
Jake is muted. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum.
Oh, well, there we go. Haha! Hey, fantastic stuff. This is NA quality, ladies and gentlemen. NA production quality. Welcome. I'm Jake Kelton. This is Wraith. He's tired, but he's awake now. This is game number 1. Team XLNC versus Fruition Academy. XLNC is the originally Team Bar, but now has switched over to be XLNC. Okay, summarize that up. Gave you the quick notes there. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for the follow deaths tonight. I appreciate that. For free play night, can you prioritize players that didn't play like always? Intra, happy to do so as long as we get players who haven't been able to play yet. I do prioritize very hard to make sure that people who haven't gotten to play get to play as early as possible. It's difficult. It's not always perfect. It's difficult. But I do make a goal of that. For these two teams, they are going to be scrimming together for the rest of the night. We are only getting to watch game number 1, so they are going to be playing a number of games. That said, we're going to get some new players in for games 2 and 3 of the night. And as we do see these bans coming out for these two teams, they have done some research. They also went through and were able to use the pick and ban tool that we used during our tournament to kind of set themselves a step above when it came to these picks, and that's why you're getting to see Sion come through for Fruition Academy. Very strong champion. A lot of people still consider him to be fairly OP, as well as the Xin Zhao and the Fizz.
Thresh already picked up. He's a generally all-around good pick. Sejuani has had an incredible win rate since her recent buffs in the previous patch. Xin Zhao is a very high win rate pick in the jungle at the moment. And Sion, as you said, definitely still S tier in the top lane, has been for quite some time. He's been kind of up and down in that for probably the last 6 to 8 months. Just a very strong pick, and perennially so, as it seems over the long haul in the patches. He just brings so much good to the team, and we're seeing the AD carries locked in. Both crit ADCs, both crit ADCs right now, and as the crit reworks have finally come through, ADCs, it didn't fix everything. Agency's still a problem, but the power levels are much more online. And guess what they did? They just reverted old Infinity Edge. Still, it's a 25% nerf to what it was before, which kind of sucks. But, you know, it's so much better than that monstrosity that they put out for, like, 6 months. You know, the one that gave you true damage. It never did anything, especially in an assassin meta. It was worse than useless, but it just gave you 10% true damage. But at the end of the game, you were never doing as much. I believe they had to have like 85 armor for it to be doing what old Infinity Edge was doing, or not 85. It was a really high number of armor, like 85 bonus armor. I don't remember what it was. I read the numbers a long time ago. Wraith always makes my ears bleed. Thank you, Applause. That always makes me happy.
My ears only bleed when he goes on one of his rants. Before we get too further and enjoy Wraith's rants, we're going to go through the players and the champions, and then we'll get to analyzing these compositions as we're enjoying ADC's big back of the ADC role, because I got to say, as a support main, it was kind of weird not having ADC with me. For the side of Team XLNC, we've got Experiment 626 with the Alawi in the top lane, Mike Oxmal Bros with the Sejuani in the jungle, Demonius the God on the Vel'koz in the mid lane, Death's Knight as the AD carry, and Applause bringing up the Thresh support.
And for Fruition Academy, we've got Atmos on the Sion in the top lane. Odd flex, but KK on Xin Zhao in the jungle. Want this candy on Fizz in the mid lane. Thigh Rain on Caitlyn in the bottom lane ADC role. And Weedman Seth Rogen on Morgana in the bottom lane supportive role. So, let's take a look at these.
Yeah,
we've got this composition here. So Sivir-Kate is an interesting matchup. Sivir gets outpoked by Caitlyn a lot. But the thing is that Caitlyn's traps have no effect on Sivir and actually give her mana back.
Yeah, it's a little
so
bit
she can
bonus.
just eat it. Yeah, she can just eat a trap and get mana back, and that's really significant considering Sivir's main gating on her wave clear is the fact that it costs so much mana. So a good strategy to run is Sivir against Caitlyn. Caitlyn is just oppressive to play against if you're shoved underneath tower, but Sivir can out wave clear her. So a really good strategy to pull with Civ against Kate is to push the Caitlyn in, ward up, then continuously push her in and use your spell shield on her traps or bait out the Morgana spell binding in order to regain the mana and just continuously push her in. Caitlyn's much less effective when she's underneath tower. And I have to comment on the Caitlyn Morgana here. One of the strongest duos in the bot lane. Morgana lands a dark binding. Caitlyn can immediately follow it up with a trap. More difficult against Sivir, so it might be worth aiming at Thresh. Otherwise, you've got Vel'koz and Fizz. That is so Fizz favored once he, even at like level 3. If Fizz gets onto Vel'koz, you're dealing with the kind of push-pull of a poke lane versus an all-in. Especially level 6, this gets really messy for Vel'koz because he's so squishy and Fizz does so much damage. If Vel can poke him out and kind of keep him at arm's length while still managing to farm, he'll be doing well. But I'm definitely giving that lane to Fizz if it's played correctly.
Yeah, talk
jungle
about all in. I wanted to throw in very quickly in the jungle that Sejuani versus Xin Zhao, both kind of all in champions. Sejuani kind of being the real main CC for the side of Team XLNC is. Fruition Academy's bringing a lot of CC besides the Fizz. Go ahead though with your analysis of that jungle and top lane.
Yeah, the jungle matchup right there between Xin Zhao and Sejuani. I can't really decide who to give it to. Xin Zhao is especially running the Hail of Blades because that really gives him his knockup fast. Xin Zhao really does well in the early stages of the game, can really make stuff happen. Once he hits level 3, he can even do level 2 ganks. He doesn't need the attack speed bonus. He's very aggressive in the early phases, but toward the later stages, having that solid tank, especially in front of stuff like Sivir and Vel'koz, is going to be nice. The amount of CC Sedge brings, and now she has heavy 1v1 potential with the AP buffs that they gave her. So, in a straight dueling scenario, Xin Zhao wins it. In early ganking, Xin Zhao wins, but as you start moving into the 5, 6, 7, 8 range and into mid-game team fights, Sejuani brings a little more impact to the team when there are other champions around, whereas it's a straight 2v2 or a 1v1, Xin Zhao is more significant of a pick. So it's really going to come down to how Mike Oxmall Bros chooses his fights and where he picks to go around the map as to how useful he will be. And finally, rounding out the analysis, Experiment 626 and Atmos. So, Alawi, pretty much just a split-pushing champion at this point, running the Kleptomancy, so she can really get a bunch of hits down onto Scion after proccing. Also, what was it? If your Test of Spirit hits somebody and pulls their ghost then procs Kleptomancy.
Which is so cheap! It's awesome, though.
It's cheap, but in order to get hit by that, I don't know. You have to have some kind of brain damage. That's a really slow skill shot, and it's so telegraphed.
Well, talking about champions that are easy to hit, think of the Scion in that top lane. He's not exactly considered the most mobile of champions, plus kind of like a Cho'Gath, he's a pretty large target, and then on top of that, 626 has shown hyper efficiency on that champion before when he has been able to play on stream. So very, very good champion and player in his hands. Excited to see him play. Overall, in the analysis, as you've been talking about, a lot of engage from Fruition Academy. Expect them, especially once they hit those level 6s with that Scion ultimate and the Xin Zhao, to be going in, trying to make plays, setting up for Fizz to follow up afterwards and clean house. This Fizz is a over 500,000 mastery champion in the hands of this player. Want this candy, so expect some good things out of him. That said, the duo for the side of Team XLNC, Death's Knight and Applause, they have shown great proficiency as a duo as well. So as long as the Morgana Dark Binding doesn't land, Applause is going to be landing quite a few hooks in the bottom lane, and sometimes even landing hooks she can still follow up afterwards and flay. We saw this issue once before, I think on the stream on last Thursday, was that the Thresh would land a hook, and whoever Morgana didn't put the Dark Binding on, Thresh would just flay in and they'd kill them. So if Morgana was trying to shield the Caitlyn so the Caitlyn would live, Morgana would get flayed in and die. If the Morgana put it on herself, Caitlyn would get flayed in and die. So interested in seeing how this dual lane in the bottom lane goes. Twitch Very Lonely, you did not get here too late. Maybe too late for game number 1, but you're welcome to use that exclamation point join tag to jump in for game number 2 or 3. At this point, we only have one team signed up for game number 2, and if we get a second team, those will be the 2 teams playing in game number 2, and we'll get some free play games in probably before the end of the night for game number 3, as we are sitting on a beautiful, long-lasting pause as both teams are trying to figure out I don't even know what they're trying to figure out. Can we move? Oh, we can move everybody, but they're already in LCS standard, so we don't have to move them. Genius. Anything else interesting to talk about? I think that
the AD is pooping.
Oh, there's the pause. There's the pause. It's a number 2 break, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that gives you the opportunity to go and get yourself a drink, get yourself comfortable in your chair, and prepare yourselves for what should be a pretty spicy game, especially the first game of the night, and in my personal opinion, the awesomeness of showing off Team XLNC as they have been rebranded. They're a team from Ohio who all go to college together up there and play in a lot of LAN events. Nothing I can talk about if you didn't see the stream patch notes today that were posted. We are having honorable mentions and MVPs for every single game that we play on stream and Shoutcast, Tuesdays and Thursdays. There was a lot of discussion between a lot of people trying to figure out whether or not the pros and cons of all of that. We were playing around with Tuesday night being a bit more serious, so bring honorable mentions and MVPs there, and Thursday night being a little bit more quiet and fun, so we're not going to worry about it. And it didn't really change any of the dynamic of how people play. Didn't really change at all. And so we're going to bring honorable mentions and MVPs to both Tuesdays and Thursdays. Keep in mind that as you rack up those honorable mentions and MVPs, there is prizes that we give out at the end of the year for people that lock in those top spots. So it's actually worth it to play pretty hard and to try to get some honorable mentions and MVPs for the end of the year prizes as we do load into the game. Lonely says he's lonely, so he's just going to watch because lonely people don't have teams. Aw, lonely. Lonely, I'll be a team with you. We can team together. But both teams moving out for game number 1. Team XLNC versus Fruition Academy. Let's go and see what these teams decide to do as they, of course, play the safe route. Demonius, though, oh, another spectator error. And that actually happened on Thursday. And it wasn't even just a spectator error because Red Team responded to a Lucian who was about that same distance, having stepped forward, and 3 people on Red's side burned spells on where the Lucian was supposedly, and then he snapped back to his original position. So there's some interesting stuff going on there with Riot.
It's Riot Games.
Super well-coded game. No problems whatsoever. Everything's perfect.
Yep. I definitely think you're right on that one, Jake. I'm never complimenting Riot Games again. We had that issue about 4 months back.
Oh,
I was
remember
like,
that.
hey, Riot's doing a great job. And then we couldn't cast for literally 2.5 weeks straight because the spectator kept crashing. So I'm never complimenting them. ever again.
It's the caster curse. It's the classic caster curse. You say something with a positive effect, you want to call somebody out for doing well, and they immediately die. Or you call somebody out for dying too much, and they immediately get a pentakill. And you're like, it doesn't matter what you say, the opposite's going to happen in the game. So,
yeah, pretty much. Like, Demonius the God is doing a really good job hitting Want This Candy with his poke.
Oh,
and at some point, the guy's going to end up dying.
Wait, Want This Candy down to about half health. And is going to need to play a little bit safe. He's got the Corrupting Potion, so we'll be able to heal back a little bit. But mostly he's looking for that level 3 when he gets access to all of his spells and can hop and fly and dash around that lane. Not too much action happening on that top side, as both are these juggernauts are just going to be kind of farming up against each other. Really interested in seeing how these junglers, though, this is the key to watch, is where these junglers going to be moving to, where are they making the rotations around, as they are going to try to just double buff start, though Xin Zhao did start his red, so we have them on opposite sides of the map at the moment.
Odd Flex is down on the bottom side of the map, like you said. Looks like he did start the red buff, which is a curious start, but I'm surprised he didn't go for the gank. The thing is that the 3-minute gank usually happens up top side, so bot laners very often get a little overconfident. In fact, I'm guilty of this myself. I usually
Zinza's gonna find Sejuani. She's got the double buff up. So does Odd Flex KK. He's gonna dash in. The smite was able to secure the scuttle coverage, gives a little bit of health back to Sejuani. Vel'koz has to run a 626. Tries to throw down the Q with his flash. However, she's gonna flash in. It's not gonna be enough to take out Zinza before the Sejuani goes down. Atmos able to secure one, but the fight continues. This is the double buff on the Scion. Now he's gonna get a little bit of damage onto Alawi, but she doesn't care. Demonius helping Alawi pick up a second kill. Double kill for Alawi on the top side.
Okay, that's a big deal for Experiment, and Scion's going to have a real rough time in this lane now. That's going to be double buffs and a large amount of gold going over to the Alawi, who already has Klepto, so she's going to have a lead. Wow.
There it is, the hook lands onto Tyrain. Nice, 90 caliber net to try to get back in time. Death's Knight, however, going to be able to get a little bit of damage. They're going to force the heal out of the Caitlyn. Weedman getting so low on this Morgana, however, is able to survive for now. Thresh also very low, is still sticking around, but the Xin Zhao's coming in for a gank. We could see some more fighting. He doesn't see applause yet. There it is, the flash out of Thresh, so that means Xin Zhao's going to engage onto Sivir, knock her up, going to get played. Not quite enough damage underneath the turret. Doesn't matter. Death's Knight's got plenty of damage. Sivir can take care of herself, and that means they get one back from a little bit over aggression out of the Xin Zhao.
Yeah, that Hail of Blades is really scary. Applause just inting.
All right.
Hold on, we got a 1v1. Death's Knight versus Tyrain.
I think Tyrain's going to win this out until Sejuani comes in. Doesn't matter. The auto attack is still enough to flash from the Caitlyn, thinking she can keep herself alive. The dart finally comes down. Sejuani has been slowed. She can't do anything. And Tyrain burns all the spells, making out alive for now. 626 going to be fighting the Spirit of Atmos in the top side. The Scion getting taken a little bit low, but so is this Alawi, as we see some nice comboing from the Vel'koz onto the Fizz. Good sidestep on that Q. Geometry, not enough to get any more harassment done for now.
Yeah, right now, Want This Candy getting pretty close to even in this middle lane right now, but it's ticking away. The advantage, the poke, becomes a lot less easy once the all-in becomes a thing. Fizz. He doesn't quite have kill potential yet, but every time he goes in, chips a little bit lower, he gets closer and closer to that all-in. All he needs to do is bait out the knockup from Demonius. That's the main thing that's gating his ability to go in and really look for a kill.
And that's something to keep in mind if you're a support and you run into a Vel'koz support. He kind of shows up every now and then, and he is quite annoying. He's got tons of harass. However, all you really need to do is make him burn that mana pool down, make him burn some of his CC potential. As this Sejuani's going to find the CC to stun up the Xin Zhao for now. However, he's still caught out, and Mike Ox is going to get the kill credit as Demonius is now sitting on 2 assists. Want This Candy, probably going to back soon. Really wants to hit that level 6, though, before he recalls. Looks like he's still going to recall at 5.
Yeah, so in the bottom lane, Tyrain and Seth Rogen are really looking good. 2 kills up, BF sword to pickaxe. I'm hoping that's actually an indicator of strength now. But Tyrain just going straight aggro, knocking down half the health off of Death Knight right there, and that's going to be another chunk of damage. But replied back onto the support there. It's going to be a pot burning in the bottom lane. Experiment, level 6, looking for the all-in.
He's going to go in, get a little bit of damage. Oh, Test the Spirit's going to miss. Decides not to keep going. But that
remember what I said about brain damage.
In the bottom lane with Caitlyn stepping forward aggressively. BF sword to the pickaxe. Caitlyn knows she's got plenty of damage and can just step forward, force that Sivir to back up once again. And you were talking at the very beginning of the game when you were doing the analysis, said that Sivir, when you're trying to beat a Sivir, you want to shove her underneath the turret. Tyrain, not that shut down. Has been able to have some free time in the middle of the lane. Hasn't been quite caught underneath that. Or sorry, Caitlyn. That's what I meant to say. Caitlyn has been quite caught underneath the turret, and so keeping the farm fairly even between the two, and even getting a little bit of a shove as the Fizz is slowly making his way down. He's got that level 6. Let's see if he can make use of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, actually, they were doing very well until that disastrous gank in the bot lane where Tyrain and Seth Rogen both got out with under 100 health. And ended up picking up 2 kills for themselves. Want this candy in the bush. And has odd flex
around the corner as well. Zinza's going to start it off. The ultimate from the Fizz, though, is still going to land onto the Sivir. She tries to spell shield, but she's got too much damage. Will go down. Odd flex doesn't care. Going to help the Fizz pick up a second kill. Demonius ulting over the wall. Disintegration Ray will help him pick up 1 on the Zinzao. Want this candy is playing on the edge of the turret range. Mycoxbro has to run away, but is going to be taken out. Tyrain with rain of damage. Drops another one, making that a total of, I believe, a 3 for 1, as they're going to try to turn on to Demonius. Don't think they've got quite the damage, though. He's going to flash forward, tosses out the Q. The spell shield keeps the Caitlyn alive for now, and it is successful with that dark binding at Demonius backing away. Fizz is still the enemy side jungle, though.
Yep, and it definitely could be want this candy. He sees him on the ward. I'm very surprised he didn't go in for that.
Well, so definitely might force his hand as she's going to come around the corner. Fizz is recalling in the brush, though, so I guess he's not too concerned. Just wants to back and make use of the gold that he got. Now sitting on a bounty on his head, 450, 600 bounty on the 3-0 Caitlyn as well. Tyrain doing great this game.
Yeah, meanwhile, Experiment 626 taking that advantage he got and turning it into a 15 CS lead, or 10 CS now, but it was 15 CS lead just a moment ago. Death Knight gonna knock down 2 plates in the bottom lane and start working on another one, but he grabs the lantern, pulled back to tower range. Playing a little bit safe as Odd Flex was on his side. Want this candy
there's
going
the all-in. Yep, as soon as you talk about the ultimate.
Cool guys don't look at explosion.
Demonius, he's still alive for the moment, as the Zin's now going to be caught out between the Sejuani and the Thresh. Odd Flex trying to run away. The ultimate won't matter, though. He's still going to be caught out. Played backwards, going to be going down the healing. Enough to keep him alive for the moment. Now they're going to be turning their attention onto what this candy. Applauses land another hook, but there's the playful trickster to get the Fizz out. Classic move by the Fizz as Death Knight in the bottom lane trying to clear away this minion wave, keep them from getting too much damage. They get 1 plate, and that was the prize that Fruition Academy's bottom lane was looking for.
Yep, and that's a lot of gold if you can get it onto an individual member. 160, I believe, is the number right there. Want this candy taking a little damage, but Demonius is up really far. I think he's trying to bait for the Sejuani. Once R is up, I'd be really careful about trying to bait the Fizz, and you might find it that he just kills you and walks away before the gank can come through.
Yeah, but his R isn't up yet, and Sejuani knows that she's invisible sitting in that brush. There is a control ward, but they have to bait him in, especially if they can make him use his Playful Trickster. However, Sejuani tries to make the outplay. Playful Trickster has been used. She needs 2 more auto attacks. The ultimate comes down. This Integration Ray will secure the kill. Demonius the God, nice positioning to make sure they take that Fizz down, and a good 450 gold bounty for that Vel'koz as well.
Yep, Vel'koz, a very powerful late game champion. Tyrain getting flayed in.
Oh, Thresh gonna try to land the hook. It's gonna miss. Good Morgana Black Shield to make sure that no more than the play affected that Caitlyn. That's actually really smart because the standard play from a really good Thresh is to flay into hook. However, if you flay and then Black shield the Caitlyn. It doesn't matter about the hook. She's not going to be worried about it. The hook will land, though, onto the Morgana, who starts her own ultimate back. The Corrupted Chain's not going to be able to do that much, as the Mountain Drake has been secured by Fruition Academy. And a nice crit shot takes out Sivir on this bottom side. Oh, Tyrain with the pain.
And Zhao coming.
And we get a pause. All right.
Wow.
True NA
Wow.
esports style. Remake coming in. Have you seen those memes? Have you watched any of the NA or even the EU? Okay, so it all started day one of the LEC, okay? Fnatic was the very first team to play. I forget who they were playing, but they were playing some other team. And they get about, I don't know, 10 minutes into the game, and something goes wrong, and the whole game decides to the game makers and everything decide to remake the game, because whatever bug was happening, they said they couldn't fix it, so we're going to remake the entire game. But Fnatic was losing, so all these memes started to come out about Fnatic. As soon as they were losing, they wanted to remake the game, and so they were like, yo, hey, we're losing, can we please remake the game? So everybody remakes the game, and then they lose again. And so 2 times in a row, the best world's finalist team lose as the first game of the LEC. And since then, every time a game gets paused in the middle of it, whether it's LEC or NA, the chat immediately gets full of remake, remake, remake. You know, whatever team is losing, they're like, oh, TSM's crying because they aren't winning the game. They want to remake the game. So obviously in this game where it's purely even between these two teams, both teams say they want to remake, they want to try it over again. Just kidding. We'll see. I actually don't know if we'll get the information on what is wrong with this.
Is somebody else pooping?
Maybe. Oh, he said there's a rat biting him. Who said there's a rat biting him?
What?
Yeah. Who paused the game? Atmost paused the game. He said there's a rat biting him. Should have banned Twitch. Obviously. There we go. Apparently the rat biting has stopped. No longer have to worry about the Black Plague. Do have to worry for this Thresh in the bottom lane. Applause. Could be caught out by Oddflex. He's going to flash. Force the flash out of Applause, but I think he still got this Thresh and throws down the ultimate. Just so secure in his opportunity for a kill as he finds some nice CC on the top side. Silent charge again. Ooh, forces the flash on this Sejuani, but it doesn't matter. Lowy just picked up the kill on that Cyan. Bottom lane turret in trouble, though. Plates being knocked out by 3 members from the side of Fruition Academy. All right, with the game back in 8 kills to 8. We got 2 more kills to spice it up even more.
Yep, want this candy. Looking for the all-in on Demonies, but not quite. The turret goes down on the bot side, so while Alawi is getting further and further ahead in the top, the same thing is happening in the bot side. This Caitlyn, huge lead, 4 kills, 700 gold bounty, almost a 10 CS lead. Oof.
And Sivir throws out the Q,
Never mind.
out Caitlyn. Yep, that's why it's bad to back when you're that low health. Don't
Faster
chop
curve.
while backing. Don't chop while backing, guys. And that's a huge shutdown gold, actually. I think it was like 800 shutdown
700.
onto the Sivir, so she's pretty happy about that. That's a couple of turret plates that she got for free. As well, not necessarily for free, but as plate's going to be knocked off this mid lane turret. Demonius getting some decent poke. Throws out the disintegration round to want this candy as well. He's got a sliver of health. So the Fizz will get out for now. Really just needs to back because he is playing with fire if he sticks around. They want this next turret plating. Odd flex, but KK is still here. Weedman stepping forward. Can't stop the plate from going down.
Yeah, so in the bottom lane, Sivir actually is pretty close in gold now. She got the shutdown. That's 700 gold, which more than makes up for the kill difference between them. She's still down about 10 CS, but that's not a huge disadvantage at this point. They're even in items. Basically, Caitlyn's now only up a dagger. That's
right.
it.
And that's the thing to keep your eyes on when it comes to gold, is gold translates into items. We got the ultimate from this Experiment 6, 2-6 at the top side. Takes out the Xin Zhao when you're surrounded by 3 tentacles, and Sion isn't there to even help out. As Love, that's Test of Spirit pull to stop Sion in the middle of his Q slam. Morgana able to walk away from the Thresh as he was trying to get a little spicy here on the top side, maybe trying to make a play around the Rift Herald. Did somebody actually pick it up? They did. Sejuani was able to secure it already, so they already have that. Maybe they want to use it in this top side as 3 are collecting up here. The turret's down to half. The plating's gone. You can see them drop the Rift Herald. Keep in mind, the Scion's ultimate is available. He could try to charge in if the Sejuani goes to drop the Rift Herald. They're playing it slowly and steadily. They're going to lose the minion wave. See what they happen is once this candy going to not go in. Good dark passage out of the Thresh to get Sejuani out of trouble.
Yeah, probably a decent idea. Alawi here, 850 gold bounty on her. I believe she has, 4 kills, 0 deaths to her name, plus the gold advantage over her opponent. And the CS, now at 30 CS, continues to grow and get further and further apart in that top lane. Not to mention the Kleptomancy gold. You can't underestimate that. That's a lot of money that continuously goes over Mike Oxmal Bros on this side of the map. We'll see if Atmos it looks like he's going to go back, but that means top lane tower will to experiment 626 and Mike Oxmal Bros. But if he backs here, there's the definite possibility of a Rift Herald push for tower number 2.
Absolutely. If you check the gold very quickly, he's actually about 2,200 gold ahead of the side at the moment. His odd flex KK gonna be dropped. He goes underneath the turret. What are you doing? Straight into the enemy turret, and now Applause is gonna get perfect timed hook to land. CC Tyrane gonna go in, try to finish off the Vel'koz, but can't get enough damage down. Beautiful play out of Applause to pick up one. The mid lane turret under fire though, and no one here to defend. They might be able to make this trade as another mini wave's crashing.
Yep, as another minion wave comes in, and that's going to be the proto belt to clear out the first wave. That's going to be a turret taken down. So Caitlyn falls, but because she doesn't have a bounty on her anymore, it's not necessarily worth, especially for the mid lane tower, to trade that. Death's Knight going to trade that back on the bottom side, though. So all in all, very even, and the kill goes over to XLNC. That Caitlyn, who has been a power point for her team, has now been picked off twice, so that drops the question of positioning.
Nice Herald spawn, probably not even going to get the charge down onto this turret, as it's going to be dropped before the Herald can even do that, which means Herald's going to be full health. Shelly going to get a nice slam onto the second tier turret. I don't know if they're going to have the minion wave or not to continue this on. They drop the turret quite low. They find the hook and the CC onto the fizz, but the spell shield going to mean he gets out just barely. Want this candy trying to escape. Disintegration Ray just going to back everyone else away from Shelly, as she's going to want to slam one more time onto the last turret. A well-placed spell from Vel'koz picks up the Morgana, and Shelly is cleared up before she gets that slam onto the inhibitor turret. So it's still full standing, but Scion gets his own turret traded in the top side, and that's really where this game is coming down to, is so many objective trades. They get the mid lane turret, they lose the top lane turret. XLNC is still going to pick up the Mountain Drake as well as the second tier in the mid lane, which is important. So it was 1 for 2 trade in terms of turrets, plus the Mountain Drake. So XLNC coming out massively in the lead, 3 objectives to 1. Granted, there was a kill there, but Morgana also got traded back in course of things. Ammonius now doing pretty well for himself. 4-0, 700 gold bounty on him. Fizz, while not in a shabby spot, definitely did not do as well in that lane as I expected him to. Demonius managing to keep the distance really well with his plasma, just managing to use it as a zoning tool and respecting Fizz's damage the whole time. So, there's only a little bit. Pardon me. Yeah, so there's only a little bit happening on the screen right now at the moment, just picking up Wade in the top lane. Alawi has now rotated down to the bottom side of the map, trying to match the Caitlyn. Not sure about that as a macro decision. I think you'd want to have the Alawi matched up against that Scion in the term, just because of the amount of power that has been put into this experiment 626. 4-0. Holy crap, 184 CS to 136 on the Scion. Yeah, we'll see if that's useful, as the Scion is here fighting in a potential 4v5 as Alawi's to this bottom lane. We saw the Xin Zhao start to go in.
So
Weed,
really-
Man Spell Immunity. It's not going to save you. The Golden Shield, though, might be able to do that. Zipper flashes forward. She's
Whoa!
one. Death Knight on the backside is able to secure 1 kill. We'll see if that's going to be enough as the rest of the team is going to step forward. They're going to finish off the Xin Zhao. Sivir is able to finish off his as well with the help of Sejuani. They're going to go in onto Tyrain. Death Knight so exceedingly low, but the CC comes through onto Caitlyn in time, and she's going to go down as well. Team Excellency gets almost a full team wipe as they're going to take everyone but the Scion off of the map.
Death Knight is still alive. Why is Death Knight still alive after flashing into 3 members?
Because Sejuani, bro. Because Sejuani.
Yeah, wow. Alright, so that's going to be the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor falling, or at least it better be the inhibitor falling as well. A lot of respawns coming through, but they probably have enough damage to drop this down before a second engage comes through. And it is going to be the inhibitor. Experiment 626 going to grab the lantern. Mike Oxfall Bros getting pushed out, and the good knock-up coming through from the Vel'koz to deny the engage. Once again, there's not a terrible amount of forced engage from Fruition Academy. You were looking for the Scion to come through with the ultimate, but unfortunately, with that being off on cooldown at the moment, there's not much they could have done to force a fight against the low health members. But they are gonna force the Baron coming through. It's coming down to half health, and nobody's close enough. Tyrain over the wall, and it looks like it's dropping down, getting close to half health. 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. Thresh is coming in right now, and I think we're going to have a fight, but it's not going to matter.
Yeah, the Baron's gone down. We'll see how many members of Fruition Academy are going to lose the flash for Samarana, so she's going to escape, and this is why you got to be careful when you're doing full team backs, because at this point in time, 20 minutes in, Fruition Academy just steals away the Baron, as Excellency just didn't have the vision down to know that's what was happening.
Yeah, Fruition Academy gets away with robbery right there. Making good play call, good taking advantage of their opponent. Knowing that they would go back all at once right there, try and spend their gold. Wow, Seth Rogen getting knocked down to half from just one spell. Demonius, very fed, and his poke is starting to hurt.
Well,
and the same thing.
Well.
Yeah, the same thing for the Caitlyn dropped, and if there's another spell that comes through, you could very much have an ADC dropping without any kind of engage whatsoever.
And that is such a nice move from 626, using the Testis Spirit over the wall so that all the team can safely harass that Scion's Ghost without really taking any risks and knock it down. Do just a little bit of extra damage. Looks like Team Excellency's decided to rotate, though, towards this bottom side. They've got a wave that's starting to crash a little bit, leaving Alawi on the top side. She doesn't have teleport, though. Keep that in mind. And we could see Fruition Academy trying to make a play onto this Alawi. She is all by herself, and the team unable to help her if it comes down to that. But it looks like they're going to do a 2 and 3, splitting that up, letting the mini wave from the mid lane crash.
I just have to say, vision, vision, vision. Look at this vision for blue team right here.
Oh, wait, the hook comes down. That's what this candy got. Hotflex going to be running away. I think he's going to fall as well. The hook only lands on a minion, but the play comes through to the Caitlyn. Death Knight's on a rampage. Oh, the Caitlyn gets CC'd as a disintegration ray. Perfectly timed. We'll take her out. Atmos going to nicely ult the Vel'koz underneath the turret, which means Demonius is going to fall off. Small Bros probably going to fall as well. Sejuani being slowly tick, 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 burned down and slowed. There's the last Q coming through from the Scion to get a shutdown on that Sejuani. So Fruition Academy get a little bit back. They didn't even lose that second tier in this bottom side. It's still standing.
Yeah, 2 shutdowns going over onto the Scion. That's a lot of gold getting pumped into that tank. Unfortunately, it's not on the Fizz, which is where you'd ideally want that gold. Somebody who could easily take out the Vel'koz in just a one fell swoop, but it's not going to happen. But as I was saying, vision is the name of the game in League of Legends. And look at the vision line. Now, Oddflex is clearing that out at the moment, but I love the line of vision that they have. It's not just scattered all throughout the enemy jungle. There's a straight line where they can see whenever an enemy champion, hold on, Tyrain and his team are now knocking down the Infernal Drake. I mean, that's an important objective at this phase of the game, and everybody on that team likes damage except for Scion. I mean, even Scion likes damage.
Who doesn't like damage? It's more about
tons of damage.
People and what they can do with it. And the side of Fruition Academy can definitely do some work, especially this Caitlyn, who's now sitting on 2.5 items, getting some pretty hefty crit chance. We've seen the last couple of fights. If she doesn't get caught out, she can definitely make the side of XLNC hurt. That said, she has been caught out by Applause and then Death's Knight. Get that fight in the mid lane, flashing over the wall to finish off on this Candy, and being helped by Sejuani. These ADCs are definitely doing work this game.
Yeah, and now XLNC needs to set up their vision again, because I want this... hold on a second.
Oh, wait, the spell shield is now going to be on the wrong team. However, Dark Passage might try to save Death's Knight. He's flashed and healed, and he gets the kill! He takes that one, this Candy. The fight's still going to break out, though Odd Flex trying to move on to Mike Small Bros. Caitlyn able to get one. She's going to try to finish off this Sejuani as well. Picks up a double kill, so the Sivir and Sejuani going to be traded over 2 for 1, and the inhibitor in the mid lane has respawned. Things looking up for Fruition Academy.
Yeah, Fruition Academy, after taking away that Baron and the Infernal Drake, things looking very much up for them. They could, in theory, pull off a turnaround. They're not necessarily that far behind. Sure, it's 21 kills to 13, and it's about 4K gold, 5K gold behind right now. But that's not an insurmountable lead. We've seen greater comebacks, and if XLNC doesn't get their push game together, start looking for some picks and try and get an advantage for themselves, or rather further their advantage rather than lessen it, they could definitely see themselves poised for getting taken down here.
And a lot of this is going to be on the Baron, spawning in less than a minute. 4,000 gold lead is a decent lead, but it's definitely not secure in that. One team fight could go the wrong way. It could swap which team is truly in control. And this is something you really want to keep your eyes on for this new team, XLNC. When they were Bar, they were successful at winning pretty cleanly the Winter Invitational Tournament we had over December. And they're lined up for the Spring Open as well. So you want to see this team doing well. You want to see this team showing off that there's a reason that they were the tournament victors and they can hold that title. And at the moment, while they've had some good plays, there's also been some questionable moments when they really didn't seem to be all on the same page in that bottom fight. Fizz Engage just looking really good when he lands it, even if he goes down in the process.
Yeah, currently Caitlyn online. Hold on, Oddflex might be, no, not quite caught out yet.
Yeah, that was a nice spell shield from Morgana. That black shield protecting him a lot, as well as his ultimate, but that ultimate has been burned. Sejuani caught out. Nobody turning out to want this Candy. The Fizz walks right through the enemy team. It's finally going to be jumped on. There's the ultimate. However, he's gone golden. He's allowed himself to survive for now. The Thresh Play going to do work. The disintegration rate through everyone, but we got so many golden stopwatches being burned down. Will that keep Fruition Esports alive? It's a double kill for the Sivir. She's trying to turn on to the right. She's still alive. It's 2v2 at the moment. Caitlyn's got the range. She's going to step forward looking for the kill, and my spectator is all bugged out. There we go. Fixed it up as experiment 626. In the meantime, that was a 4v5 fight because she's teleported to the bottom side, trying to finish off the inhibitor turret. Will go down for her trouble as the fight in the mid lane continues between these two. Looks like Fruition Academy gonna back away. Atmos God and Tyrain still alive. Opportunity for Death Knight though. Ooh, nice Q.
Yeah, Tyrain getting really low right there. He's trying to pull some cheeky stuff from around the corner. There's a ward in that bush, and if all he needs is one auto onto Vel'koz in order to put him into ult range. But that gets sniffed out. Demonius not quite that dumb. Throws out the Q and completely ends that line of play. Doesn't get the kill, but forces both members back to base. But as I was saying, Caitlyn online now, the 3 crit items plus boots and QSS. This is going to be a scary crit champion right now. As unfortunately weighed down by the Executioner's Calling, as well as that Quicksilver Sash, which isn't really contributing much in terms of a damage item. It's definitely going to be nice to take away the... Okay, so Thresh and Sejuani CC are going to be the only things that it's going to cleanse. Interesting. I don't know if I would have gone QSS this time.
Atmos charging and gonna find it slow. However, it's on to experiment 626. He's trying to get in position for the ultimate. It's only gonna land on 3 people. However, that's gonna be enough to take out Want This Candy. Death Knight still alive in the back line. Keep that in mind. The technical slam starting to come through. And I once again pressed the wrong key. There we go. Fix it as the Zin's out. Gonna find the Alawi, the ultimate disintegration ray from Demonius. Well timed. Picks up one. Is able to help pick up the second one. Applause getting low. Knocked up by the Scion. Should be able to finish off the kill. He does before he goes down, leaving 2 members of Team Excellency to walk away. There is still, though, 18 seconds on Want This Candy. Can they get an inhibitor before he comes up? I don't know.
Yeah, I would go for the Infernal Drake and even those 2 out right now, as you do still have a jungler on the map. Let's see, that's 3 seconds on Want This Candy. I don't think he can stop this. Trying to force in onto Demonius would probably end up being his death. But he's going to try. It's a valiant effort. I don't think it's going to happen, though. Yeah, that's just going to be... Well, I'm surprised Mike didn't just pull the trigger on the stun there. That probably would have ended Fizz's life, the stun lining up a Q for Demonius there, and that is going to be Infernal Drake as well, but not secured as Odd Flex is in the area.
Wait, Scion's here as well. He's teleported in. This could be yet another fight around the Infernal Drake. The Scion caught out for the moment. The Thresh hook not going to be able to secure a death just yet. He is a very tanky boy. He's been hooked up once again. He's trying to get repositioned. He's going to ult in. The Q's going to miss, though. He's still losing a lot of his life in the backside. The kill from Demonius not going to keep him alive. The barrier attempting to keep him up. That's what I meant. He is going to go down. Atmos trying to get away. He will finally be dropped. Tyrain now in trouble with Caitlyn, trying to get away from Mr. Sejuani. The 90 caliber net not going to do enough to get herself out. The Spellshield from Morgana not going to help as well. And that means that Want This Candy and Morgana are the only 2 left alive from Fruition Academy. This is not good for them as the Infernal Drake still on the table for Excellency.
Yep, that's going to be the Infernal Drake going down and probably the Baron as well. As death timers are long enough and the Sejuani and the Xin Zhao is down at the moment, but they need to get over there quick. Want This Candy, trying desperately to clear waves, throws out the ultimate. Not the best super wave clearer is Fizz. Experiment 626, Applause, and Death's Knight all running over there with Mike Ox Bros to try and take down this Baron, and with a Mountain Drake and an Infernal Drake, it's just going to melt.
Yeah,
that's going to be...
We're going to try to take it with the Q, but that is a very hard spell to land, especially when you don't have any vision. So they're going to be able to clean that one up, putting Excellency in pretty good position at this point. They've had their ups and downs. They were up over 4,000 gold lead. However, they lost Teamfighter 2, dropped down to slightly under 4,000. Now they're back up over a nice 6,000 gold lead. But again, Fruition Academy have shown that they don't roll over, even when they're down. They have fought tooth and nail to get us one to the game. We're at the 30-minute mark. Most people are hitting their 4 items, and it's starting to get pretty stacked. As Caitlyn, 7, 6, and 6. 3.5 items, and she has herself now a Quicksilver sack, which should help against that Sejuani CC.
Yeah, the problem with her current build path is she has 2 very low damage utility items that she's going to be forced to build now. Mercurial Scimitar, not a very high damage item, and neither is excuse me.
Ooh,
neither is
Reminder. Okay.
Yeah, Mortal Reminder of the 2 does not deal as much damage as you would like it to. It's a lot better than it was after the buffs came through. Want This Candy just throwing out a questing ultimate for Death's Knight. Not going to find it, and wouldn't have mattered because the Sivir has the spell shield. Definitely a good pickup there. Want This Candy eats a Q.
Oh, it's Sejuani engaged. Mike Rose is going to try to get CC down onto Tyrain. The ultimate from Xin Zhao actually knocks Demonius out of his ultimate, but it doesn't matter. The Caitlyn's already been finished off. Odd Flex going to be knocked up and should be finished off as well. Double kill for the Sivir as they are going to clean house, pick up 3 members and the bottom lane inhibitor, allowing, giving away topside turret. Not even worried about it. Instead, going to rejoin the team, try to push in with this Baron for the victory as Fizz able to secure Demonius. Atmos coming in, trying to get the CC down. He's been pulled with the Test of Spirit, but that is the ultimate from Lowy, who just comes smashing through, picks up the double kill. The Ghost of Saya not going to be able to do anything, and with 4 members standing, Team XLNC will secure victory at the 34-minute mark in game number 1 against Fruition Academy.
Yep, that was an excellent play. Excellent lines of play all throughout that. There you saw a near comeback by Fruition, and then a stabilization by XLNC to really secure their victory. So you got to see both sides. It wasn't just a ham-handed stomp, but there was good time on both sides, good play from both teams. But without further ado, your MVPs, honorable mentions, and shout-outs are going to come through. First for Fruition Academy. Let's see. I'm going to give the honorable mention over to Want This Candy for his early game impact. Roaming down to the bot side straight at level 6 was a really excellent play, especially considering that his bot lane was starting to struggle a bit right there. And his intervention really did a lot to shore up the problems that Thyrain and Seth Rogen were going under. But the MVP is going to go over to Thyrain on the Caitlyn.
Ooh, yeah.
Cue the ADC bias in the chat. But tell me Kate didn't deserve it.
Kate didn't deserve it.
Well,
well, you just asked me to tell you. It doesn't mean whether I'm right or wrong. So, you know,
okay.
I can say wrong things. I get that right.
Yeah. So, Kate, Thyrain, really doing a good job on this Caitlyn. Using the champion and the range very well, the mid-game. Not maximal usage of traps, which is something that distinguishes a good Caitlyn from a great one. If you can manage to auto-cancel your traps in between fights and getting a lot of those on the ground, it's free CC, and during a team fight, nobody looks at their feet. I mean, half the time people don't look at their feet during laning phase, so if you can use those, it's a lot of bonus damage. But getting himself a really good lead, especially that fight in the bottom lane, early levels, using Caitlyn's range to hold Sivir on that range leash that we've talked about before on stream. Basically, the idea of kiting is, you know, has the idea of a kite string. You know, you just keep pulling them along where they can't hit you. And that's exactly what Thyrain did with Death's Knight. Despite being at lower health, ended up kiting it out and keeping her at arm's length until he managed to get enough health, knock down Death's Knight, as well as Applause, getting 2 kills in the early laning phase and kind of snowballing that lead there. Unfortunately, Mike Oxmal Bros, perfect aim with the ultimates, really getting forcing Thyrain to have to buy a QSS, which, I mean, that's pretty much the whole lead right there. If you have to buy the QSS, it really hurts as an ADC, because that's 1,300. That's 1,300 gold that goes into absolutely 0 damage. And Mercurial Scimitar isn't that big of a damage item anyway either. But flipping sides, MVPs, honorable mentions, and shout-outs. That's tough. I think I want to give it to Experiment 626 as the MVP and Demonius the God as the honorable mention. Demonius gets the honorable mention because he was in a pretty tough lane matchup, or at least as I understand it. I've seen Vel'koz get stomped into the turf by Fizz time and time again, but he kind of managed to play that middle ground right there where he could once again keep the Fizz on the range leash, poke him out enough to where it was dangerous for the Fizz to look for that all-in and look for the burst. Holding the spells, never overcommitting either to farming or to the poke game, not putting himself in a bad position, and navigating that laning phase very well for himself. Experiment 626, though, I give the MVP because he was kind of just sitting there as the rock for his team. In the early laning phase, you were having problems down in the bot lane. Applause and Death's Knight while Death's Knight did come back and Applause had a big part to play in that into the later stages of the game. That happened after everybody had already the team had gotten to working together and playing together well. But Experiment 626, the top lane, got those early kills, ended up being 4-0 with a 30 CS advantage. I mean, Mike Oxmall Bros did help him out a little bit, but for the most part, that lead was self-got, self-sustained, and I mean, look at the CS difference, 200 to 260 advantage. It's a pretty big deal. Lots of gold involved right there. So that's going to earn him the MVP. So I believe that's it. And of course, shout outs, Mike Oxmall Bros, the precision on the ultimates to force Caitlyn to buy that QSS, really critical, basically neutralizing most of the advantage between the ADCs. Death's Knight and Applause both deserve shout outs for playing cool. They got set behind in a really bad and unfortunate fight that could have gone either way, but didn't tilt. And even after getting ganked by Want This Candy a couple of times, managed to stay cool, play well, and 13-5 and 2-6-20, both very respectable score lines.
Yeah,
And
the one shout out that I would give is to Death's Knight. Not MVP or honorable mention, but just a really big shout out for sometimes as an ADC. You think that it's inting, but you sometimes just have to choose to go crazy aggressive and flashing to get to the back line to finish off the Fizz, who at that time was doing amazing work in those team fights, gets the last auto attack, finishes off the Fizz, and trusts in Mike Oxmall Bros to come in on that Sejuani and protect the Sivir for the rest of the fight on that backside, surviving with just a couple hundred health. Sometimes you have to make those critical plays. Sometimes you have to trust your team. And that's really what originally Bar, now Team XLNC, did this game around, was showcase what it is to trust in your teammates to go in and make those bigger plays. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finished with game number 1. We'll be right back with game number 2. But you know what's awesome? We're not just going to go straight into game number 2. We're going to take a very short break. Means you can get some water, you can get up, stretch your legs a little bit, and play some marbles, because I fixed marbles while we were doing everything else. We're gonna have some marbles games. Join in, use the exclamation point play to join into the marbles games. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight.